I mean, that just played on its own, but I guess let's bring it in with little Trey Lance highlights, right? I mean, can we go wrong with that? I mean, I might get copyright claimed. Nothing like a 2.5 hour video the last time we did a 2.5 hour stream and got copyright claimed for the one video I showed you on what was it? I want to say it was Jamie Newman. Yeah. So, well, anyway, welcome back, folks. I took the night off yesterday. I know some of you were asking, where I was, and in an effort to not burn myself out, I took yesterday off. But I'm here. I'm back at the office, ready to get to work. It's not really work when you're having fun, and I mean, let's be real here. I enjoy these so much. I enjoy talking with you guys and interacting, and it's fun. So let's get this out of the way. First and foremost, straight up, there's some stuff going on, and with the Rams quarterback situation. I mean, we've been talking about this for a while, right? With Jared Goff and John Wolford. This whole thing is really, I guess evolved, I think is the best word, as time has gone on. And of course, that doesn't shock me at all. But what I will say is this. This stuff is starting to feel pretty real. This isn't, your hogwash BS statement. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN reported that, Matthew Stafford views the Rams as a viable, trade partner in this scenario. Basically, he thinks that he can get to the playoffs and potentially win a Super Bowl with the Rams, and thus they're a good trade candidate. They're a good spot. They're a good destination for him, and I agree. I definitely agree with that. I think the Rams and Matt Stafford are a great combo. But what is interesting, and the reason the title is what the title is that, well, we're having a report on one hand that Matthew Stafford is interested in the Rams, but then on the other, we're having not a report, but we're having Deshaun Watson liking things on Instagram about Andrew Whitworth coming back to play another season, his close connection with Jalen Ramsey via his agent, David Muhalida. I don't even know how to say his name. David Muhalida. I don't know how to say his name, so I apologize. But they both share the same agent. And, Jalen goes on, it looked like, I think it was Deion Sanders, and, he goes on like a show with DeAndre Hopkins, a live show, and just flat out, they asked DeAndre Hopkins where, he's going to be next year, him being Deshaun Watson, because he said, ex-Texan. And Jalen Ramsey comes out and he says, basically, y'all know where he's going. And they're like, no, we don't. Like, where's he going? And he's like, he's going to L.A., And so it's really interesting here because when you have that type of scenario, you would think, well, the Rams would have to give up 4 first-round picks. Houston will get a better package from another team. How does this work? And the thing that's very interesting about sports is that now more than ever, players really control their own destiny. Back in the day, it was kind of like, with Eric Dickerson, for instance, you could argue he forced the trade, but the Rams simply just weren't going to pay him. So, yeah, he forced himself out of there, but you see that a lot more in today's, honestly, in today's sports world. And so I feel like with player mobility and how often it is being championed, it's supported, because once one player from somewhere goes, like say Watson complains, and then you have LeBron in the NBA who's like, yeah, go, he's tweeting like, yeah, go Watson, do it. And it's just like, I think a lot of people are now, it's becoming a players league, similar to the NBA, which has always felt like a players league. So Deshaun Watson, can he get out of Houston? Absolutely. He can just say, I'm not going to play. I know new head coach David Curley came out and said, Deshaun Watson's going to play. I wouldn't have taken this job if I wasn't going to get Deshaun Watson, yada, yada, yada. But look, I'll tell you right now, David Curley will never coach Deshaun Watson. Watson will not be a Texan. So Texans fans in here, I'm sorry, I'm speaking the truth. He's going to be gone. Just like Jared Goff, as much as, Yeah, Mulu Heda. I don't know. He very, very powerful, Chris. And I'm sorry I'm missing all the comments. I'm gonna circle back and we'll go over everything. So I'm not ignoring you guys. Don't worry. Anyway, so yeah, so looking at that, you're like, well, how can Deshaun get out? And really, it's simple. He can not play. He can force his hand. Yes, he signed a contract. Yes, he has to honor it, but he doesn't have to honor it with that team. That's not how the NFL works. And so, he could end up being traded and he could be force traded. And it's very, 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 very simple how he could force himself to LA if he wants to go to LA. Honestly, he can just be like, hey, I'm not signing with this team or not signing with this team. I'm not going to play for this team. If I get sent here, I'm not playing for them. Say Houston is like, we're going to send you to the Jets. You'd be like, okay, well, I'm not showing up to the physical. I'm not showing up to that physical. I'm not playing for that team. No, I want to go to the Rams. You trade me to the Rams. And that is exactly how you get something like that done. Now, is it, the nicest way? Is it the most respectful way? Probably not. Am I saying that I would do it if I was in Deshaun Watson's shoes? I don't know, to be honest with you. But I'm never going to knock mobility. Not going to do it. Just look at the Cavs. Look at LeBron James when he first left the Cavs. Look, I didn't realize it like when I was little and I hated on LeBron. He went from my favorite player to like my worst, enemy. Like I couldn't stand him, right? But LeBron had every reason to leave the Cavaliers. He had just taken them to the NBA Finals against the Spurs with nothing around him. And all he was basically asking is for them to go out and get some talent. And, that organization was not going to do that. And he knew he had to go somewhere else to win. Mobility's big. And before you, look at Deshaun Watson and call him a baby and all that, think about how big of a portion a legacy of somebody is put on based on how much they win. Deshaun Watson right now, here are the facts. Deshaun Watson right now has a lesser win percentage than Mitchell Trubisky. Both same class. One went to one team, one went to another. Everyone was trashing the trashing the Bears for not picking him. But at the end of the day, Mitch Trubisky has a better win record. Are you going to say Mitch Trubisky's better? No, you're not going to say that. So I think Deshaun Watson's tired of losing, obviously, first and foremost. I don't think he likes the direction of, where the Texans are going. I don't think he understands what they're even doing, and nor do I or any analyst or sportscaster trying to make sense of it all. So Deshaun Watson's getting out of Houston one way or another. The question is, and the reason why I brought this up, is where is he going? Is he going to go to the Rams? Could he push himself to the Rams? He absolutely could. I think it's realistic. It's crazy, but here's the thing. By him pushing himself to LA, by him saying, I'm not going there, trade me to LA, if he will only play for the Rams, and the Rams can only give up so much, the Texans might have to take what they can get. They might be totally screwed out of this trade, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying that it's 100% a done deal, but I'm saying that Jalen Ramsey knows more than he lets on. And one thing I'll say for sure is if people think it's the coaches telling Ramsey straight up, think about how close, David is. We'll call him David because I feel like I'm butchering his last name. And, for the respect of him, I don't want to be doing that. So, the agent, Jalen's agent and Deshaun's agent are the same agent, and they're close. And that's one thing that he does very well, and he's always been regarded as an agent that is really close to his client, cares about him, truly cares about his client. So, I mean, who's to say, Jalen Ramsey is the best corner in the league, Deshaun Watson is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, aren't planning this thing. And is it tampering? No, it's not. It's not. It's not at all. It's really, at the end of the day, NBA is a little different. The NFL, and this is really important, guys. When the NBA, you have like a player that wants another player and what have you, there's only 5 guys. Mulegeta. Okay, so it's Mulugheta. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. So it's Mulugheta. And basically, my point is that in the NBA, you have 5 guys that start. Straight up. You have 5 guys that start on court for a team. In the NFL, you have 11 on the field at one point for your team. There's 53 men on an NFL roster as of right now, not including practice squad, which now there's 13 practice squad members. And in the NBA, they've now gone up to, I think, 17. But, 2 of those have to be reserves and they can't even play in the game. So my point is that there's a lot more going on in the NFL. There's way more players. And so by doing something like that, acquiring somebody like that, well, it doesn't really, obviously it's a quarterback, but it's not like doing it in an NBA situation where you get Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and you bring over Giannis Antetokounmpo. That is a huge, huge gain. Obviously, Watson's a huge gain, but you have 10 other guys on the field where if they don't get it done, Watson can't get it done. So in the NBA, you can have guys that can take over games. So that's why you see that more. Now, I might be focusing too much on Watson, but I really thought it was interesting that Jalen seemed really confident, and he's been recruiting him. And let's be real here, folks. Let's be real here, okay? If the Rams were 100% sold on Jared Goff, and he was 100% going to be the 2021 starter like some people believe, then why is Jalen Ramsey, who's one of the stars on this team, probably one of the players that voted Goff team captain, why is he actively advocating for another quarterback? Why are the Rams talking about, why is the report ever leaking about them having a quarterback competition? There's a lot of questions to be answered, and there's no answers right now because we haven't even gotten the Super Bowl yet, and the new league season hasn't started. But the Rams could agree to verbally to a trade, and they wouldn't be able to go through with it until the end of the season. That could happen. So I think it's very important for people to realize that. And Jalen Ramsey knows more than he's letting on. And I think he's trying to be kind of like cryptic, but he's not really being cryptic. I think he's telling you something. Now, here's something that's very important and needs to be said. It adds context to the matter. Not all trades that you hear about, not all of them go through. But more importantly, there are probably hundreds of trades that you never hear about that almost went through, but at the end of the day, they didn't, so you didn't hear about them. And that's really important here because what we're dealing with now is a Deshaun Watson situation where you have a, big impact player who is very young. He's 25 years old. You have him contractually through, I believe, 2025, I want to say. So 2025, it's just immense upside on that deal. You're getting a huge bargain, a guy that is everything you want in a quarterback in today's game. But then on the other side of it, then you have Stafford, and Stafford's a little bit older. He's 33 years old. And, this is somebody that I know some people are concerned about his injuries. I've said it on here. He started 9 seasons, all 16 games. And Stafford is somebody that, is definitely ready to, if anybody's ready, it's Stafford. He's ready to move on from his team. He's, definitely interested in mobility, and he wants to win because this is somebody that just hasn't had the success that he should have had, and a lot of it is because of what was around him. So I think that's very important. Context is needed. A lot of these trades that don't happen, you don't hear about, but it doesn't mean that they didn't almost happen. Look, for instance, if Jeff Fisher didn't mention it, you never would have known that the Rams tried to get Zach Martin in the same draft they got Aaron Donald in. They actually tried to get Zach Martin again. It's the same thing where the Rams tried to get, I think it was Levante David, I want to say. No, it might have been Bobby Wagner. My point is that there's so many trades. The Odell trade, I was given a tip on from somebody pretty close to the organization, so I thought that was a done deal, and I threw it out there, and it didn't happen. But of course, I learned my lesson on that one. But yeah, Odell, there was a lot of talk about Odell going to the Rams. The thing is, not every trade is going to go through. And so the Rams are interested in Stafford, and Stafford is interested in the Rams. That could happen. Watson is all based on context clues, and we don't know what is going to happen. Furthermore, there's a lot of, where there's smoke, there's fire. That's definitely a term that, could be used in this scenario, because now you not only have Jalen Ramsey, that's talking about it, but now it got word with, what's his face? Gottlieb. And it makes you wonder, when all this stuff happens all together and it happens at the same time in the perfect storm, who's leaking this information and why are they leaking this information? Well, multiple reasons could be that they're trying, it's a GM tactic, where they're trying to increase leverage on the GM's part, whether it be a Houston Texans GM or a GM that is trying to acquire Deshaun Watson, or it could be a leverage move for the agent, where the agent's trying to help his player out, so he, leaks stuff out that he wants to have leaked out. And another thing that's very important to keep in mind is that when things leak, they leak for a reason. They leak for a purpose. If there's no purpose for it leaking, it's not going to leak. It's just like when you have, those albums, brand new albums that haven't even come out yet, and all of a sudden they're leaked all over these sites. It's been done on purpose. What the purpose is, I couldn't tell you, but it was done on purpose. Leaks don't just happen. It's the same thing with a video game. When they, the leaks about the title of the video game or who's going to be in it. Because now we have, we cast, movie actors to be in video games now. And it's always like, who's going to be in it? And that's the thing, is that when things leak, they leak for a purpose. When you have Jeremy Fowler of ESPN coming out and giving you sources from ESPN, sources say Matthew Stafford is looking at the Rams, that was leaked to him. That was either a GM from the Rams, that was either a GM from the Lions, so Brad Holmes or Les Snead, that was either a agent of Stafford's, or an agent of Goff's, or it could have just been that straight up Matthew Stafford told him, and he was the source. You don't know who the source is, ever. So context is important, and pretty much at the end of the day, anything can happen. Will Matthew Stafford be a Ram? Do we know that 100%? No, we don't. And we've been hearing, there's some stuff going around. I mean, I wasn't at the Senior Bowl, but from what I was hearing is that there was some buzz going around about Stafford to the 49ers. And like I said, that stuff doesn't go around for no reason. It gets leaked on purpose. What was the purpose? Well, it could be that it was leaked from Stafford's camp. Stafford wants to go to the 49ers. He's pushing for it. Go get me, 49ers. You see this going. You see my interest. Go get me. Or it could have been the Lions. They like the 49ers package the most, but they want a little bit more, so they're going to leak it to the media. Or it's the 49ers. They literally want everyone to know that they're going after Stafford, which, I don't know. It could be anybody. It's just very important to realize that, folks. Context is everything, and if you just listen really closely, people will tell you what they're not trying to tell you. They'll tell you what you want to know. So that's ultimately how that happens. Ramsey is being cryptic, but he's also, he knows something. Now, let's just talk about this. What happens if Jared Goff is a part of that Lions deal? What happens to the league? Do they have an issue with the fact that Brad Holmes came from the Rams organization from 2003 and is doing the Rams a favor by trading Stafford to the Rams? That wouldn't go over with the league. I don't think it would, especially if they take on Goff's contract. But I think it could happen. I think it's realistic, and I don't think it would be a kind of handshake deal like people would make it out to be. Not everything has to be like a conspiracy, I could imagine that, people would have an issue with it, probably salty people that didn't get Stafford, but, it's something to keep in mind. And then on the other front, Watson. But you hear what I'm saying, folks? This isn't like cut and dry, but this also isn't going to be done smooth. Nothing about this is smooth, folks. Nothing. Not anything I'm telling you, it's not going to go smooth, which is fine. Not everything does go smoothly. And here's the thing. So not everything goes smoothly. And if Watson's going to find his way to the Rams, he's going to have to push and use his leverage to push himself in an ugly fashion to get to the Rams. Maybe tell people, I'm not playing for you, yada, yada. Whereas Stafford, it's not going to be pretty, because they're going to have the whole, oh, well, Brad Holmes was with the Rams for so many years and they're in cahoots and all that. See, it's just not going to be pretty. But at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be. At the end of the day, it really doesn't. I mean, hell, look at the NBA. They vetoed the Chris Paul trade, which a lot of you guys are Lakers fans, so They vetoed the Chris Paul trade. And then they also didn't veto the trade where the guy who was coming from the Nets, in order for the Nets to acquire James Harden, who's a superstar, Karis LeVert, they didn't veto the trade after they found out that Karis LeVert didn't pass his physical because he had kidney cancer. They found that in the physical, but the NBA didn't veto that trade. So, it's not like if the Rams got Stafford, and I'm sure you're wondering, like, would they veto the trade? Absolutely not. They would not do that. They would not do that. It would be questioned. I'm sure people would have an issue with it, but they would not do that. So I think it's definitely important. And we actually have breaking news on this show per Alexis Kraft, because I'm not looking at the news right now. I'm looking at you guys in the comments and trying to keep up in my head and maybe, obviously run back. So for baseball fans, Nolan Arenado is going to the Cardinals. So that's a pretty big trade. That's kind of huge. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, this is a lot, folks. These are masterful names. I mean, Watson and, Stafford. And the thing that's really interesting is, do the Lions take on Goff, or do they take picks and say Havenstein, or do they just take picks? Do they want to draft their quarterback? I mean, there's multiple ways they can go to it. I think the Rams have an argument. Les Snead could get in the room on the phone and be like, hey, we have a top 15 quarterback in Jared Goff. He went to a Super Bowl. He's been on the cusp of, being great. And right now, the scheme that we're going towards more mobility at the quarterback position. And ultimately, we don't feel as though he's the best fit for our scheme. However, he could help you win multiple games. He won 13 games one year, 11 games another year, 10 games, 9. I mean, this guy's a winner. So that's how Les Snead could push that. That is important to keep in mind. Now, in terms of, Watson, I don't think Goff would go for Watson. I don't think that would happen. I think the Rams would have to acquire, Watson via picks. Could the Rams get it down to 2 first-round picks and maybe some, compensatory picks? Maybe, but I'm not saying it's 100%. But I just think it's really important to realize that Les Snead can move anybody, first off. And secondly, he can be like, hey, Jared Goff is a good quarterback. Again, top 15 in the league. This is my resume. Goff has the resume, folks. If you don't watch the film, if you don't watch towards the end of the year that film where he started to struggle, then you wouldn't know. So obviously these teams are going to do that, but I think you could definitely argue that Goff could make a team better. Think about how many teams, like the Browns, for instance, took forever to find their starting quarterback. Some teams decide to go the Kirk Cousins, Sam Bradford, Case Keenum, Teddy Bridgewater route, while others like to have their guy. Well, for the team that wants to go the Teddy Bridgewater, Case Keenum, Kirk Cousins, Sam Bradford route, Goff's for you. And right now, I think the Colts are an option Because say the Colts don't get Stafford and the Rams do. I think the Colts are the second best fit for Stafford personally after the Rams. I think the Rams are the best fit. 49ers are up there. I think the Rams are the best fit. They have pretty much everything that he needs to succeed. His thing is there hasn't been a defense and an offense on the same page when he's been there, and he has had to lead a team. But keep in mind, the way McVay plays his style of game, he wants to control the clock. He wants to be winning at halftime. He's undefeated, like 36-0 or 37-0 at halftime when winning. And Stafford doesn't have to come back all the time. When's the last time you turned on a Lions game where Stafford wasn't losing or had to come back in the fourth quarter? And he could do it. So I also think that's another dynamic to why the Rams would want him. Say what you will about Jared Goff, but the Rams don't come back. They don't come back and win. They don't complete the comeback. They're not that team. They always come close. The Rams don't really get blown out. But I'll tell you right now, I'll tell you right now, Jared Goff doesn't win those games. Matthew Stafford's been winning those games for 10 years. So it's important to realize that. And then with Watson, no matter how disruptive your offensive line is, doesn't give your guys an opportunity to throw the ball, what have you, it's not going to matter because you have Deshaun Watson. And this offensive line is underrated. They were top 10 this year, all year. Despite what people are saying, they were top 10. So you give Watson a top 10 offensive line. You give him Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, Tyler Higbee, and Bryson Hopkins. And you tell me if he's going to struggle with that. You tell me if he's going to lose games. Because I don't think he is. I think the Rams go 15-1 with Deshaun Watson last year. Straight up. So that's where I'm at on that. Already losing my voice. You know, it's not a Jake Ellenbogen live stream without losing your voice. Wow. Folks, I didn't even notice. We hit 250 earlier. This is the most, congratulations, you're part of the biggest live stream I've ever done. And no way in hell did I come to the office today thinking this would be the biggest live stream I've ever done. But here we are. And I think the potential is through the roof because we're doing this and there's no Rams football. Just wait until a move happens. Just wait. This is awesome. You guys are freaking phenomenal. I'm really impressed. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. And again, if you don't agree with me, I'm not going to hold that against you. But that's where I'm at on that, is that I think with Watson and, Stafford, I think they're definitely possible. And I think ultimately, I think the Rams have enough to get them, both. If they want either one, I think they can get them. So, it's very interesting, and I'm honestly pretty thankful. It's really helped the channel. It's helped us all engage a little bit more, but I'm really thankful that the Rams seem to want to do something blockbuster-ish. You tell me, if they go out and get Matthew Stafford, is that not a blockbuster move? I think it absolutely is. If they go out and get, Deshaun Watson, that's on the level of Jalen Ramsey. I feel like the Stafford move is like Marcus Peters. But you go out and get Watson, and that is Jalen Ramsey front page for the next month type of news. That would steal the offseason. I don't think anybody could come close. There's nobody out there. Nobody. Unless Rodgers goes somewhere. And I've already shown you guys, it can work. You can make it work with the cap. You can manipulate the cap. I've had guys on before on my show. Ben Albright is somebody well-respected. And, he said it best on my show. He's like, you can always manipulate the cap. Cap is just a magic number. And clearly it is, because the Rams always find a way to, manipulate it and move past it. And they do a damn good job of doing it. And now I want to actually address something, because I've seen this idea going around that Les Snead is a bust GM. I think it was, I'm not going to say who it was on Twitter. I don't want to trash anybody. So anyway, they were saying, well, Curley was first off, Curley wasn't a bust, okay? That it was very unfortunate circumstances that led him down a rough path with the knee, but he was not a bust, okay? Like, you don't draft a running back top 10 overall, a top 10 in the draft, off knee surgery, have him run and end up being the best, running back in the league, have 40 touchdowns in 2 years, and then call him a bust. I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to that. So he wasn't a bust. But like they were saying, like, he was a bust, Tavon was a bust, Brockers, like all these guys, right? Like they're just like ripping him. And so what I'll say in that regard is that Les Snead, for every one of those bust picks that he's made, he's found great value late in the draft. He's done a great job of, going out and grabbing the league by the balls and saying, you know what? If you want to, win 8 games every year, that's fine. I don't. I'm tired of it. I watched it. I'm tired of it. So we're not going to win 8 games anymore. We're going to go for 13. We're going to make that move for Jalen Ramsey. We're going to make that move for Dante Fowler. We're going to make that move for Marcus Peters. And you're not going to stop us because you're not going to do it because you're complacent. So that's my thing about Les Snead, is that he's willing to make those moves. So you can say what you will about all that, and at the end of the day, he doesn't even deal with the contracts. It's Tony Pastore's. So this idea that Les Snead's a bust or Les Snead's a bad GM, I just can't subscribe to that. I think him and Chris Ballard of the Indianapolis Colts are the best GMs, and we will see about Brad Holmes. But over in Detroit, they've put together a really nice coaching staff. So I got to give them props. And we're over 300. Guys, you guys are beautiful. I love every single one of you. 306 on this stream. 306. And someone said Dogecoin. How many of you guys are invested in Dogecoin? I'm going to look at mine right now. Probably not doing well. Oh, nope, we're not doing well. We're going downhill. Ooh, it's at 38. It'll go back up. Don't worry. Just hold. Just hold. Snead does not. No, he does not. He's very good. Very, very, very good. As far as him drafting a linebacker, I mean, hey, you got Kaiser in the 5th round. They don't really draft linebackers, so I can't say, they're bad. Clay Johnston in the 7th probably might have worked out. Yeah, I hope everyone got in on Dogecoin. Made a lot of money. Did you guys see? I said pump Dogecoin on my my post. Yeah, I wish. And another thing I forgot to mention. So Andy Dickerson is joining. He's the assistant offensive line coach. I mentioned it on the last stream. He is joining Shane Waldron with Seattle. He's going to be their run game coordinator, I want to say. So, yeah, that's definitely it's unfortunate. You don't like losing those guys. Also, I'm assuming since I have 295 people in here, not all of you are subscribed to me. So, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon while you're at it. When I go live or when I drop a video, you will know first thing. I'm going to be having a buddy of mine, an old co-host of mine on the Downtown Rams podcast in a little bit. Joe Curley of the Ventura County Star, very well informed, member of the Rams media, credentialed. He's the man, and so I'm glad to have him on. Just want to let you guys know I'll be doing that soon. Bears football team, Colts, and Patriots all need quarterback upgrade to make playoffs in 2021. Goff is an upgrade to these teams. Not impossible to move quarterback. I agree, and thank you so much for the donation, Andy. You are the man. With that, I think Goff would be really interesting in New England. I think Jared Goff with the Patriots would be very, very, very interesting. Now, would the Patriots trade an arm and a leg for Goff, or are they going to try to get him for like a 4th rounder? Because I know the Patriots don't like spending a lot, but then again, I can't even say that. They spent a 2nd rounder on, what was his face? Mohamed Sanu, who was like on a practice squad the entire year. please trade Goff to the Patriots. What's up, Charlie? Goff needs a pay raise. Goff couldn't handle the cold. Thought he looked pretty good in Green Bay. Yeah, Morris is definitely knows a thing about linebackers. Seahawks fans calling our team trash, but praising Shane Waldron. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. There's some context to be had there. So with the Shane Waldron hire, Russell Wilson basically, spearheaded that movement. He spearheaded going after and getting the OC, and he had a ton of say about who they hired, and he wanted Shane Waldron from the get-go, which tells me he's been on the other sideline watching the Rams run that offense and say, wow, that offense is really good. I wish I was in that offense. I could probably do more than, Jared Goff is doing. And, I think for sure, I mean, you put Russell Wilson in Sean McVay's offense, and now for people that are just joining, I'm explaining what Shane Waldron will be like, because you're not getting Shane Waldron knowing anything about him other than the fact that he's going to run the Sean McVay type of offense. That is what he's been around. Yeah, the hypocrisy is funny. It's very funny. What's up, Ted? How we doing? It's Wanda, all Wanda. Yeah, did anyone see WandaVision? Man, that episode was good. Gotta love that show. Right now I'm watching Gotham, if anybody's watched that before. Phenomenal show. I'm absolutely hooked. I almost didn't leave for The Office because I kept watching. No, I'm kidding. What's up, Kellen? How we doing? Appreciate you, Rams House. Yeah, I was just in. Go follow. Follow. I'm so used to Twitter. Go subscribe to Rams House. Was just in his stream. I feel I don't know how much younger he is than me, but he's the future, because you know when you have, and I'm sorry, Rams House, if you're not that young, but you're definitely younger than me, so I'm gonna give you props. Starting at a young age, it's very important. They always say, the people that can start at a young age playing guitar, drums, or whatever, they can be, that prodigy. They learn things quicker and, soak things up. So I feel like Rams House is going to be like the future of this platform. So make sure you follow him, subscribe to him. He's a great kid. I was just watching his stuff. Just very passionate fan. He knows his stuff. So definitely go give him a sub. My favorite college team are the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, I also like Alabama for football. I like watching Alabama. I like USC. And then I like UAlbany because they're around here. I live in Albany, New York, around Albany, New York. And, that's that. Those are my college teams. I mean, I'm not like a crazy college fan except for like the Jayhawks. I love the Jayhawks, but that's that. So, let's see here. What's the latest on the Rams since I've been gone for 2 days? Well, the Rams are now, Matthew Stafford and the Rams apparently have mutual interest, and Deshaun Watson is being heavily teased to the Rams by Jalen Ramsey. I hope the Rams draft speedy wide receiver deep threats to burn the defenses. Going to subscribe to, go subscribe to him. Also, go subscribe to Alexis Kraft. She's on my channel, featured channel. She's on my channel. Subscribe to her and subscribe to the AJ Show. I do that with my cousin, Adam Grego. He also has, his account is Adam Steele. It's over, I think it's now 6,000 subs. So yeah, do that. And tomorrow, folks, I'm actually going to be right here at noon recording the AJ Show live. So feel free to tune into that. We cover all NFL stuff. So we'll be talking about this for sure. Gotham sucks so much. Man, just crap on me. Hey, Jake, what about this? Rams trade for Stafford and develop Kellen Mond for 2 years. I wouldn't mind that. I don't mind Mond at all. I thought, from what I've been seeing, and I haven't seen a ton of the Senior Bowl, I just need to be out there. I don't feel like I can follow it and give you the content I want to give you because I'm not out there. When I'm out there, I feel like I'm ready. But, I don't know. Covering virtually has not been that fun for me. But what I'll say is that Kellen Mond has looked like the best quarterback I've seen at the Senior Bowl so far. Yeah, USC is looking good with the recruits they picked up. And they still they kept, what is it? The guy from Texas Tech, the OC. I forget his name. They kept him though. That was a huge move. Watched Senior Bowl practice. A lot of good receivers, including the underclassmen. No, I agree with that. You do Rams House and Alexis Kraft. Alexis won't have videos for a minute, but she is. I want to build up her her following, so that way when she joins, everyone will be able to see her videos. What's up, Clash? Yeah, I definitely want the Rams to make their team better. I agree with you there. John Ross. I wonder how Nelson Aguilar would do. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Nelson Aguilar? Do you like him? No? Thought he was really good with the Raiders this year. And Stafford's mobile. Guys, mobile quarterback doesn't mean a sprinter. Doesn't mean a runner. Mobile means can you move? Goff is technically, he's mobile. He's not a mobile quarterback, but he's somewhat mobile. He's not immobile. You think so, Sprite? I can assure you, Canada Dry will be back in my midst. Don't worry. Ritter for 2022. When can teams start making moves? Not until the new league year starts in March, I think it is. Dogecoin is going to rise again. Where's that right now? Ooh. Yeah, let's not look at that. That might ruin my whole night. Any updates on Kyle Trask if he's going to the draft or coming back? He's going to be in the draft. He's actually at the Senior Bowl. I'm not super high on him, but... Well, no. Goff can move, though. Like, he's not fast or quick, but he can move. Like, he gets out of the pocket and can make plays. He just doesn't do it a lot, but he can... Immobile means he can't move at all. Yeah, but keep in mind, though, even though March is far away, Exile, like, these deals are going to come out. Like, the Rams could have a deal for their next quarterback by February. They could have a deal tomorrow. Who knows? Well, yeah, that's the biggest thing with Goff is when the pocket breaks down, what do you do? And with Wolford, we've seen he can escape. He can make plays with his legs, with his arm. With Goff, I mean, he either is going to have to take the big hit and try to make the throw, or he's just going to crumble down kind of like Bradford did. So which quarterbacks are immobile in the NFL if Goff is one that moves? Well, Tom Brady. Tom Brady's a statue. Tom Brady does not want to be pressured. I'm not saying Goff is fast, but to say that he is absolutely immobile, I can't necessarily subscribe to that. It's weird because there are times where it's almost like Goff feels the pressure and every that, but I don't know. It's the inconsistency factor. Goff just isn't consistent, and it's shown. It's trickled down. People have noticed. That's what it comes down to, When will we get the news the deal will be done if one is done, let's say tomorrow? I mean, the thing is, these deals won't be done. So these deals won't be done until, like, March. But, like, say... they have a handshake deal, or they have a verbal deal, or they have framework. You're probably going to get that report when it happens. He literally slid a yard. Yeah, I know. That was not the best. Lawrence got smacked by Fields. Hey, Jake, do you know people at Ramswire. Would love to look into writing for them. I know Cam DeSilva, and I think, what is it? I want to say, I don't know if he writes there or not, but Steve Rubiero, I think he still writes there. You know what's funny? You guys would never be able to guess this jersey. He plays on the 4th line for the Vegas Knights. Do you actually think what Ramsey said about Watson is something to pay attention to? I just think Ramsey is so confident. Yeah, to be honest with you, I mean, I think there's definitely something to it. I don't think he was just busting on them. You can tease something when you know more. Like, I do it a lot. I've done it a lot. I've done it on here. You know more than you let on. It's a tactic. You give kind of like a, yeah, or like a weird expression, like, you know, it can be a grin, all sorts of stuff. You can always do it. It's like a poker face, but you're letting the person know how you feel. Yeah, Cam's a good writer. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Exactly, Andy. Watch Goff not be traded and give Jalen the stink eye. And that's another thing. I don't know how. If he knew that Jared Goff was going to stay, he wouldn't do that. And to be honest with you, I don't think he would have pursued Watson as much. Joking or not, he just wouldn't do it if Jared Goff was 100% the quarterback. Jake, what has McVay done differently with the offense that Wolford is a better fit for than Goff? I mean, to be honest with you, it was a pretty similar offense. They ran more pistol, and they had, quarterback, direct snaps to the quarterback, built-in runs and all that. But for the most part, it was like the same offense, and Wolford just ran it more efficiently. He ran it quicker, more athletic. I don't know. I mean, that's really what happened. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know at this point. Holden, what's up? You notice the awkward silence after Jalen said Watson is going to LA? Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. Jalen is very similar to Marcus Peters in that they will say what's ever on their mind, and they don't care who likes it or how they react to it. So, what do you think about Drew Lock and the Broncos quarterback situation, Goff-Lock exchange? I think the Broncos would have to give up more than Lock for Goff. Nailed it. Nicholas Waugh. You probably looked it up, but if you didn't, you're still the man. Or the woman. I can't tell. Like, Ionic. Yeah, I'm a big Nick Waugh fan. I like guys that play on the 4th line. Bang down low. Play the forecheck. And, can scrap out assists and score goals and what have you. Just very underrated guys. Those are the guys I love watching in hockey. Jalen and AD are the only players on this team that I see as untouchables. I mean, at the end of the day, who's to say that Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey didn't just get fed up at the end of the season and say that Wolford gave him more, gave him more of an opportunity or what have you, to win a game, and so they voiced their opinions to McVay and Snead. I mean, I had never heard of, any of the teammates talking about work ethic and all of that until Wolford came into the picture. I'm just saying. Drew Lock is greater than Goff. I'm a fan of Drew Lock, and I don't even know if that's true. Oh, it's definitely not Sprite and vodka. I don't drink alcohol on stream. Like, we have a beer fridge, or a fridge that has soda and beer and water. And I don't touch the beer. Maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I'll just kick back, relax, but I'm not doing it right now. Yeah, Holden's a good writer. And he's a good friend. The real deal, James Neal. Yeah, he's on the other team I like. Because I also watch Edmonton, and I have a soft spot for the Devils. Drew Lock is 23-year-old Jay Cutler. That's an interesting thing. I never thought about that. Staples Center is the mecca of basketball, despite what people tell you. The best franchise in the NBA plays there. That's all you need to know. I mean, how would we know that the drink is spiked? I mean, if I started going like this and slurring my speech, then maybe you would know. I don't know. I don't know. Thanks, David. Appreciate it. Yeah, I try. I mean, I want to get everyone involved. If you have a Broncos question, I'm more than happy to answer it. I know the league pretty well. Actually, I know the league very well. But as you know, most of my viewership are Rams fans, so I gotta please the viewers. I can't just bail out on you guys. Also, by the way, we already have over 3,000 views. And let's see here. Now people are like, sell Dogecoin. Where's that at right now? I don't even want to look. All right, we're not looking. Not looking at it. Oh, did I? I actually feel bad for Goff. I think he's a good dude and has not said anything about all this. Oh, I feel bad for Goff too. I mean, straight up, I think Goff is I don't know. I actually wanted Goff to be the guy. I was a fan of his, and he wasn't even like my guy coming out. I wanted Wentz. But I'll say that I really liked how he said, we're going to get this fixed. I really am going to fix this. And then he did just that. And then the strides he made from 2016 and 2017 to 2018. And then the way he fell off, though, was kind of like, well, it's hard. It's like, this team's ready to win. And it's in a weird scenario where you can't really commit. It's weird that they paid him, though. Oh, absolutely, Holden. Hoping to be at the next Senior Bowl, assuming that everything isn't on hold. What's going on, and what do you think it will happen? What do you think? When do you think it will happen, or what do you think will happen? That's fair. I get that. Red State Rams fan. I guess my thing is I don't feel like Jared Goff is like a bad person. I know a lot of people like to get on his case, and I've been very critical. But keep in mind, I keep my critical, my nature and everything. I keep that all. At least I try to make it like professional. I try to explain what I'm seeing and why I'm feeling that way. I'm not trying to trash a guy. I'm not trying to kick a guy while he's down. I want Goff to succeed. I want him to be the guy. I just think it wasn't even homerism to me. I just felt like Wolford gave him more of a chance to win at the end of the day. I like Goff too, but we should be in win now mode. Aaron Donald won't be around forever. Well, that's where I'm at on that. It's like, it's not that Goff's a bad guy. It's not that he's a bad person. It's not that he's a bad leader. And this is somebody that doesn't get hurt. So it's like going from Sam Bradford to Jared Goff is honestly a blessing. But the problem is he's in year 5. And it's like, what's happening here? He's regressing. And Colin Cowherd says, and I don't always agree with what he says, but I think he's spot on in this take. You take your best season, your worst season, somewhere in between there, that's who you are as a quarterback. Jared Goff's an above average quarterback, yes, but he's not a great quarterback. And it's a business. Exactly, William. I mean, also, the Rams decided to go a route that no team in the NFL is really gone. I mean, they went entirely win now. They gave up a ton of picks, and they got superstars. They tried to make a dream team, for lack of a better term. So, Well, Jordan Ramsey basically said that if they were asking where he would go on this live stream with him and DeAndre Hopkins, and he said, you know where he's going to go. He's going to go to LA, of course, or something along those lines. That's not a direct quote, but you get my point, is that he basically said that. Lay off the Sprite. Cheers. No, if I start to fade, it's because I'm pretty tired. But I wasn't going to not do a video. Come on now. Wasn't not going to do a live stream 2 nights in a row. What is that? But yeah, I'm exhausted. Long day of work. Plus, Dogecoin's taking years off my life. What's up, Brandon? How we doing? So yeah, in case you guys missed it, Joe Curley, the Ventura County Star and former co-host of the Downtown Rams podcast with me, he will be on at some point. So keep that in mind. Jake, who is faster, Scotty Miller or Tyreek? I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill. My job, I work from home. My job is in New York, upstate New York. And I do call center work, so I talk I can't even talk. I talk on the phone with people all day who either super nice out of the blue or hate me. There's no in between. It's just this way or this way, you know. Yeah. No, I don't think Bryce is going to. Thoughts on Steelers? Well, I think the Steelers, they have a really good roster. I thought at one point they were the best team in the NFL. And I think, with the Steelers, I hope they keep Ben Roethlisberger around, give an opportunity to win another ring. As far as like Juju Smith-Schuster, I don't know if you bring him back or not. Just the ability that, Kevin Colbert has had on this team to be able to go out and get receivers. You talk about a Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, James Washington, Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't feel like, the Steelers have to go out and sign Juju or sign another receiver. Would focus on building that interior offensive line, and then you're golden. You get those guys back. I guess there's a little bit of a concern with Dupree. Is he going to come back or not? I would sign Dupree over Juju personally. But, I think when you get Devin Bush back, you're going to see tremendous improvement in the back end. Being able to cover the the deep zone. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. Let's see here. I'm going to hold the line, but what the actual heck is happening to Doge right now? Yeah, it's gonna drop. You can't even buy it like anywhere right now, so that's why it's dropping. I'd hang on though. No Juju to the Rams. I don't think Juju's gonna go to the Rams, guys. I don't see it. Oh, we got Joe in the house. All right, let's see here.
So I just talked. Am I popped up already?
He's already popped up. It's Joe Curley in the house. How's it going, cool. Joe?
Good. I'm learning the voice aspect of Discord here, which you had to teach me via text before I went and got my Friday night sushi. So I stuffed myself, and now you can talk a little football if you'd like.
Well, I definitely like. I think the last time I spoke with you, it was the 300 mega cast we did. Yeah, it was episode 300 of the Downtown Rams podcast. And now I think we're on 340 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we talk. That was the last time we talked publicly.
Yeah.
But we talk from time to time.
Yeah, well, how you been?
Doing good. Just, staying employed and staying healthy and trying to get through this like the rest of us. And covering a lot of – I didn't cover a ton of sports this year just because there wasn't a ton of sports. So I helped out with our – breaking news team, and I've been covering a lot of COVID and a lot of local issues, and obviously watching what's happening with the team. on on a fairly close basis, talking to all the guys who cover the team. So yeah, I have some opinions about what's currently happening. But what have you talked about so far with with everything that's happening with Jared and these rumors and all
Well,
this stuff? So bring me up to date while I was waiting in line for my sushi.
so first off, I need to know what kind of sushi did you get?
There's just a local place here in Thousand Oaks that we get. It's actually called Sushi Oaks. That's quite
Oh, there you
you
go.
know
I figured I'd,
excellent,
you'd shout them out
excellent.
on here. So, we have 250
Yeah,
people
no,
on here. So,
yeah. If you're ever in the Caneo Valley for Rams work, the sushi that you would get would be Sushi Oaks. It's excellent. And although if you were wanting to see Sean and some Rams, they always go to Q Sushi over in Westlake Village, but that's just a little too far from where I am. It's a quick little hop, and what do we get? We got just a bunch of rolls and just a grab bag everybody can kind of share. So it's kind of family style a little bit.
yeah, no, I like that. So, now let's discuss everything that's going on. So, first off, to catch you up to speed, with Stafford, I explained that, you know, Stafford is interested in the Rams, according to Jeremy Fowler's report. The Rams have been kicking the tires about going after Stafford. We had a Senior Bowl leak with Stafford going to the 49ers that kind of took some ground this week. Of course, I'm not out there. Let me make that very clear. I'm not there right now. That's just what I've been
You have
hearing.
in the past too.
And then with Deshaun Watson, I mean, that's bizarre because, he's liking different posts on Instagram, like Whitworth coming back and these random Rams page. He's been liking those posts. Jalen Ramsey comes out. Yeah, it's bizarre. He doesn't like downtown Rams, though. What's up with that? So
That's the new. I know. Well, he'll figure it out once he gets the lay of the land. I'm sure you get some likes out of
so
Deshaun. Yeah, when you're that's hysterical. My whole thing is that I just for what the last 3-4 years, the the Rams have been so far in on Jared that it's almost kind of dizzying to see what's happened the last month or 6 weeks because for how many years have we talked that we get to a draft and we talk about how the Rams should be drafting a quarterback to
oh my God, I know.
to put behind Goff and invest in and and be able to use McVay's talents and to put pressure on Goff. And so it's been really, since McVay's been hired, it's been really, ironclad how, the commitment that the team and the coaching staff has made toward this player. And that's with what they've said publicly. That's the way they've treated him. That's been obviously the investment in him financially, never mind the investment in him draft wise with the picks, to get him. So everything that they've done up until what November was completely mid of December was said one thing. And so we would always say, the Rams should pick a quarterback, but we know they're not going to because they're so invested in Goff. And now, the moment before this contract kicks in, now is when they're going to reverse field and undo everything that they've done the last four. To me, so it's just insane that if you're going to pick a time to do this, now is the worst time to do this, and it harkens back to what happened with Curley, where Curley was out before they even got to the contract. He was they finally get to the contract that they give him, and he was on his way out, so no longer the same player. So I don't know. It's just it's a bad trend with the way the team's being managed. That they're investing. Obviously they've had hits and misses. The Donald contract, huge hit. The Ramsey move, huge hit. The Gurley move contract obviously didn't work out. That was maybe more of an injury. And then this is ridiculous. This is the type of mistake that you make that whoever made this mistake, and we don't really know who made this mistake, whether it was the coach, the GM, or someone above the GM. You make a mistake like this, 9-figure mistake. This is the mistake that cost people their jobs.
Well, I agree
So
with that. I was going to actually ask you, who do you think is the most responsible for this? Because I feel like, obviously Stan Kroenke just signs off on it, right? When they're going and they're drafting, Jared Goff over Carson Wentz, we know the whole thing. Stan Kroenke signed off on that trade, and then they went up and got Jared Goff. But as far as, with this going on and everything happening with Goff, when they signed him, was that a Demoff thing? Was that a Pastors thing? Was that a Snead thing? Was that even a McVay thing? Or was that kind of like all together they collectively? Because, I mean, for this to happen that quickly, either my idea that the glass broke in Sean McVay when he saw John Wolford run that offense first game of his NFL career better than Goff did, or McVay actually didn't feel this way. He never wanted Goff as far as to sign him, and this was done higher up. Where are you in that regard? Do you feel like this is more higher up, Sean McVay, or all of the above?
So part of the reason Sean McVay is here is because Sean McVay chose the Rams in a package with Goff. Goff was part of that whole arrangement. Was, they had to match the coach with the quarterback, and McVay was good with it. And, and he's been so, like I said, you can only judge them. You can't judge them on their words so much as their actions. Sean McVay has not drafted a quarterback in his tenure. So that he has had as much commitment to him as, Les Snead for trading the picks to get him, and ownership for spending the money. And so I think, you have to break and remember when Goff got drafted, there was we would ask Fisher, and we would ask Snead, whose decision ultimately is it, and they would present a united front because they would together handle that decision and handle the blame. So there wasn't one person to blame. It was a united front. You have to include Demoff in that. And so, so nobody, publicly, nobody really knows who ultimately makes that decision. And ultimately, when you draft at 1-1, when you make the move, you make the biggest trade ever to 1-1, and you make that decision. That's an organizational decision. So that's everybody from the owner to Demoff to, everybody signs off on that decision. And to give somebody that much money, they all have to be on board. And when that contract was signed, what did we say? We said, they're coming off the Super Bowl. Obviously, you want to, give Jared credit for, his performance. But, I mean, did we think he was worth $30 million a year?
No.
And so,
and I think a lot of that came down to the whole, because remember when this is happening, this is around the time Dak Prescott's talking about getting 40. So I feel like the Cowboys might honestly coerce the Rams into making this deal before they actually needed to.
And the Cowboys still haven't signed Dak. And they might end up losing Dak, right?
Yeah.
But how would the Cowboys feel if they were in on Dak for 160, 200 million, and the guy just destroyed his ankle? So, it's... I this is such a fascinating, and now we can get into Stafford, we can get into what's out there to Watson, because it's such a fascinating offseason because there's, I have a couple opinions about this. One is, this is not 10 years ago when there was only 3 to 5 good quarterbacks in the league and everybody else was playing for second place because they didn't have a quarterback. To me, I think there's so many good quarterbacks in this league right now that the Patriots went out and paid a former MVP $1 million this year. And, obviously it didn't quite work out. Newton didn't have that great a year because they asked, they got him hurt, whatever. There's a million, not to waste time on the Patriots, but they got a former MVP for $1 million this year. And yet the Rams are paying, they're in above 30 on their guy, who, let's be honest, Jared Goff never sniffed an MVP. So, I think there's a situation where what the Rams have done is they're kind of on the back end of the curve where, you're paying you're paying Rodgers north of 30. You're paying, the two other. You're paying Wilson north of 30, and then the Rams like, oh yeah, we've finally got a quarterback, so we got to pay him north of 30. Maybe they were following the trend, and they got caught where, Goff's not going to be worth $30 million any year during this contract.
Yeah, it's almost like it's weird, but it almost feels like this. It seems like the worst time because, as many have pointed out, like this contract extension hasn't even really kicked in yet. But at the same time, this might honestly be the best because they are willing to say we made a mistake, and they're like, hey, we ate over $30 million to make sure Cooks and Gurley weren't on the roster. Eating another 22 probably can't hurt going into this year. Now, how much of this has to do with Wolford, Joe? We've talked, obviously. You know what my thoughts are on Wolford. I know you thought he looked pretty good. At least you texted me during when they had the scrimmages, and you said Wolford looked pretty good. Now,
yeah, he did look good in the scrimmage I was at SoFi. But that doesn't mean. So I know you're a big Wolford guy.
Yeah,
and I was a big AAF guy.
I know. We had our AAF fantasy league.
So we did. We're crazy. So and Wolford's fine, but to me it was, and we're getting further away from. But I thought it was an indictment of the personnel situation in on the team that the $30 million quarterback goes down, and you're and Wolford's a journeyman, an undrafted journeyman, is potentially going to be the guy that has to start a playoff game for them. So and that goes back to the last 4 years, every draft me saying they need to be drafting and developing a quarterback behind Goff, and that's because they allowed the $30 million, the franchise quarterback, to have no competition. The last 4 years Jared Goff's been they've had such a commitment to him, like we spoke about before, that there was a little bit of an opportunity for him to rest on his laurels and feel comfortable in his position. And you can never be comfortable as an NFL player. And so I feel like the Rams quarterback. I'm going to say this right. I'm going to make a. You know me. I don't make predictions.
Oh,
but
I love
like
this.
all of this is because I don't think they can get out of this contract. I don't think they can pay someone enough capital to take this money this year. And even if they do, everything accelerates. And it's I think the cap situation is pretty close to being about as untenable as a cap situation could be. So I don't think they will move on from him. I think all this is getting his butt in gear, getting him. It's like I mean, to bring the Patriots up again, but in the middle of Tom Brady's career, when he was the only guy there, were some of his worst statistical years. And then they went out and they drafted Garoppolo, and the team won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years or whatever it was. I think what they needed to do is just recruit, under him, get him going, and then I think maybe they can get some positive performance, some value for this money that they're paying him, because there's too much invested into. How in the world are they going to pay someone to take this contract and be able to then make I mean, the only thing they can possibly do is pay someone is give someone enough assets to take the contract. Then you're going to have 30% of your cap next year is going to be Goff, paying off the Goff mistake. So then you're kind of stuck with Wolford. You do have to have a UDFA quarterback in that situation. So they could, if they want to wriggle out of it, but I don't see there's any way that they spend enough assets to get out from the contract and go out and get Watson or Stafford or one of these guys that's available. And so that's, to me, I'm watching this fascinated, because I'm like, how are they going to pull this off?
This is the big one. If Snead does this,
yeah, then he saves his job for giving the guy $30 million in the first place. I mean, really? I mean, whoever it is, and we don't know. And I have my suspicions, and I don't know if I'm going to.
No, I don't want to get you in trouble.
I think you know what I think, but this is Jared Goff is a big deal. The quarterback position is a big deal. It's someone above, whoever's the main decision maker, you could think about yourself, the main decision makers made this decision, whether it was to draft him, whether it was to pay him.
Yep.
And I think that goes above, the guys that you would typically associate as the decision makers.
Yep, we're definitely on the same page.
Anyway, that's my opinion. I don't know for real, but but anyway, but you have, Sean McVay took this job with Jared Goff attached to it and has not done anything to waver that commitment to Jared Goff until last month. And that's why it was so fascinating, because now you've got hundreds of millions of dollars, or tens of millions of dollars committed to this guy, and now is the time that you're gonna start, your head's gonna be turned by a sprightly little UDFA quarterback who, let's be honest, does look a little bit like the head coach. So maybe that's what Sean sees in him. But
hey, I saw Raheem Morris throwing the football.
Yeah, there you go. And I do like that. I like that addition. I don't think Rams fans should really be too worked up about all the coaching staff they're losing, because I think they're getting. I think you got to make the decisions once they get guys in. Obviously, Aubrey was one of my guys. But, when you're in a position, when you're in a job,
yep,
and you want a promotion, and your boss comes and says, no, we're going to hire this guy instead of you twice, it's time to leave. And I think that's what happened with Aubrey. Aubrey wanted that DC job. When he didn't get it the first time, he understood. When he didn't get the second time, it was time for him to try to find somewhere else.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. And I think, I think Raheem Morris is going to do well. I know some people are worrying it kind of reeks of favoritism that he got over Aubrey because of their prior connections. Now this is the third different teams he's worked
Raheem
with.
Morris is a good DC.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I love, one thing that I love, Joe, is that, and I've mentioned it on here, is that he was a passing game coordinator and a receivers coach. So he has that offensive side of the ball as well that Staley had. And it may be limited, but I do like when my defensive coordinator has actually coached both sides of the football.
Hey, give Sean credit. Sean McVay
I give him
hired now 2 defensive coordinators, and both were home runs.
I know.
You have to have confidence in that he can hire a DC. He can put a staff together. So, and he's done a really good job when they've, in the past, besides obviously the special teams coordinator, cluster from last year, every coaching hire that he's made has been an improvement, has been successful. And so I don't think as a Rams fan, you really have to be worried about losing personnel, because the other thing about it is when you have a head coach that is getting people jobs, you're going to get quality talent to come. You're going to get new quality talent in.
Yeah.
So Rams fans shouldn't be worried about this coaching staff. Rams fans should be worried about what's going to happen with this quarterback situation, because it is unbelievable that this is the way this has played out.
I think anything can happen, to be honest, Joe. I gave it a 0% chance Goff started next year, though. 0.
I don't agree with that. I think they're stuck.
I think and this is awesome because, like, obviously, like, we agree on a lot, but there are some things we definitely disagree on. And I
just don't see, I mean, you're going to give up how many first rounders are you going to have to give somebody to take this Goff contract?
I don't think they'll have to give up much. I think that they could get, here's the thing. I actually think they could get a second and third, or a first rounder for Goff. And hear me out as to why. I actually think they could. Because you have teams in the league that literally are looking at the Rams like, okay, we know Jared Goff isn't a superstar, but either A, we feel like so-and-so as an offensive coordinator, head coach, is going to be the quarterback whisperer he needs, and that maybe Sean McVay had just been tired of it and been, whatever. 1. 2, maybe that they're looking at it and being like, well, we're going to start, say, I don't know, Ryan Fitzpatrick, just like a quarterback like that. Let's just go out and get Goff for 2 years, and then maybe, turn him around and, package him for other picks. Or number 3 is that maybe, just maybe, you look at him, as an option to be your franchise quarterback, and a team likes him more than the consensus. It just takes one. And so I think in a league where you saw, Nuke Hopkins get traded for, and don't get me wrong, they got a pick as well, but for David Johnson, who he's literally shattered his hand 3 straight years in a row.
But Bill O'Brien ain't there to make the deal now.
Well, no,
no one else is going to make the
I
just
know.
takes one. That one guy lost his job.
It just takes one, but I think here's an interesting one, and I think Chris Ballard is one of the best GMs in all football, so I don't know if he'll necessarily do it, but I do think Jared Goff to the Colts would be a good fit for him. It's a great offensive line. You get an 1,100-yard rusher in Jonathan Taylor. You have a defense coached by Matt Eberflus that is on the rise, and you have a great offensive-minded coach in Frank Reich, who I've been saying, and I got some flack for it, but all of a sudden this guy's out of Philly. I've been saying Frank Reich was the gear there. He was the engine for that offense, and it's a reason why he had all those coaching interviews, and then eventually he gets hired, and all of a sudden the Eagles wagon falls apart, after winning the Super Bowl in 2017. It was right after he left. So I don't know. I think if Wentz stays in Philly, I think Goff could be the option there. I think the Patriots could be an option, but I think the Patriots, I don't know if they would necessarily trade all that, but then again, they traded a second for Mohamed Sanu. So, as you know,
that was because they were ramping up for
they've done
Brady.
It before.
That was back in the day when they had Brady, and they were ramping up the last couple of years, and that's why the Patriots are where the Patriots are now, because they put all those eggs in a basket. They got to refresh. But it's interesting you bring up the Colts, because we're part of the same news group as the Colts. So I was, as the Indianapolis Star, I should say. And so they did here's 8 people who could possibly be the Colts next quarterback. And I'm frantically trying to find the story, because I guarantee you Jared Goff wasn't on that list. That's it's class. But I just don't know, like, how do you make that valuable? I mean, how do you make him how do you make that deal with that much left on his contract and then go out and replace him? I mean, you could take the hit for a year, pay someone to take him, and then, like I said, have a UDFA at quarterback, have a minor, not spend any at the position, and then you're out of the hole next year and you start anew. But I just don't see being able to move him and then going to get a Stafford. The Rams want the Lions want 2 first-round picks for Stafford. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think that's going to happen either. But one interesting thing, Joe, is with Goff, I think he's surprisingly. All right, I'll say this, because I know you definitely think that this contract is ridiculous, and it is. I do. I don't think they should have paid him this much. But anyway.
It was never a good idea. It was never. The day they signed it, coming off a Super Bowl season, it was not a good idea.
I mean, he didn't win. It's like, if he wins, it's different, but he didn't win, so I don't know why they paid him all that money, especially because you could say they didn't win because of him. They didn't win because of the offensive. I mean, I don't know. But anyway,
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the team that's finally going to say, hey, everybody was talking about Seattle when they had a rookie a quarterback on a rookie contract, and that was their time to win. And the Rams were able to do what the Rams did with a quarterback on a rookie contract. And for years I've said, who is going to be the GM and the team and the coach that finally says, hey, why don't we just turn over the quarterback position every 4 years and just continue to draft a guy, or go cheap at the quarterback position, power up the rest of the team, and try to stay in that situation where you're constantly, able to outspend everybody at every other position, because the Seahawks are paying Wilson 30 and the Rams are paying Goff 30, and who's finally going to say, let's try to zig when everybody else is zagging? I've been waiting for that for a couple of years now.
No, I definitely agree with you there. And, I've actually, when we talked about that, it really hit me, and it's been with me for like 3 years, 4 years, however long you mentioned it to me. And I've been talking about it a ton on this live stream. I go about every night I go on here pretty much. And I tell people that same thing. And if you're looking for a team to finally do that, this is the team. Because if you, like, what if, this idea that Sean McVay is carrying Jared Goff might be a little of an exaggeration, because Goff has talent. I'm not going to say he's talentless, but I do think Jared Goff is limiting Sean McVay. And if that's the case, if McVay is legitimately one of the best offensive minds maybe ever, who knows? Then this is the team to do it. You have the weapons that are paid long term with Cooper Kupp and now Robert Woods. They're there another 4 years. You have Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson. You added Van Jefferson. Tyler Higbee's paid for the next 3. You have Bryson Hopkins, who I'm extremely high on. The offensive line was top 10 all season long, despite how much they get bagged on. An elite defense. I mean, like, couldn't you say that, like, hey, Trey Lance, come in here and operate the offense for 4 years, and then if you're Patrick Mahomes-esque, we'll keep you. If not, we'll move on to the next rookie quarterback.
Yeah, you have a vet, that's there, to to work yourself through the transition, and is good at who's there in case that that the rookie isn't good, or doesn't work out, and and then be able to use that extra $15 million across the rest of the, you're paying your quarterback position $15 million rather than 35, and then use that extra money to power the rest of the lineup, and I just think that's if one of these teams that's turning over this quarterback position this year, that's where I'm wondering who's gonna try that. The problem is a lot of these guys that are on the move, whether it's Goff or Wentz or Jimmy G, are all already been paid, right?
Yeah.
And so they all come with significant price tags and cap hits. And then I think that's why probably I think we answered my question from earlier, which is why the Lions want 2 first rounders for Stafford. It's because Stafford's contract is smaller, right? He might be the cheapest out of the group.
It's the cheapest, but it's definitely not like easy to go around. One thing I'll say with Goff is that, you could argue he'll be 27 years old in October. And I mean, this, like, the dead cap for trading him away would be $22 million. If they cut him, it'll be, what was it? It would be like negative $30 million if they release him before June 1st. If they trade him before June 1st, it's $22.2 million. I don't think you can designate. Joe, actually, you answer this question for me, because I've been asked this and I don't know the true answer from people. How I don't believe you can, but maybe you can. You can't designate a post June 1st trade if you, like, agree to it now, right? Like, you couldn't designate that.
Where you have to wait and then actualize it then.
Yeah,
right?
like
I mean, you could do it, and that be part of the agreement with the team you make the trade with. But then that's, that would be part of the deal. There is some breaking news here. I don't know if you've seen Jordan's story with it. Since we've been on the air here. Jordan's posted something on The Athletic. Source: Rams engaging in exploratory quarterback trade talks with multiple teams. So basically the Rams are actively trying to find someone. According to Jordan Rodriguez of the Athletic, the Rams are in the process of trying to find a Jared Goff buyer.
Could we find out? And I was just, like, people were asking this, and obviously you can't agree to a trade. The new league season hasn't started yet. But could we find out about, like, a trade being, like, verbally agreed to by now? Like, I mean, like, for real. Like, if they, because we're talking, like, you hear about the Stafford stuff with the 49ers at the Senior Bowl, and it's almost like, what would stop them from being able to agree on a deal and just process it when the new league year starts? Like, that's happened before, right?
No, that happens all the time.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
They would come to the agreement, and then you wouldn't have it formally processed. You wouldn't have, the interview. That you wouldn't have Stafford here doing an interview, until that all went through. I mean, but especially with all this money moving around. Yeah, here it is. They could trade Goff after June 1, an extremely rare scenario, although there is league precedent, for a relatively small total of $7 million in dead cap money, plus 15 in 2022. So there's a way to like spread out the cap hit. So maybe that makes it a little easier because she's saying it's 22.2 million in dead cap money if they move on from Goff before June 1st.
Yeah, if they trade him before June 1st.
Spread it out. They spread it out over two. But the thing that's complicated, I don't know. I mean, Jordan's reporting it, so it's got to be right. But I thought that figure would be higher because remember they redid his deal, and
the converted $9 million
deal,
the bonus money.
Yeah, and that money gets accelerated too. I thought it was 22.2 plus that 9.
No,
I thought it was more like 30.
Let's see.
But anyway, I mean, unless you get the dude from over the cap on, I mean, some of this stuff is super complicated. But obviously, whatever the RAM source she has is saying, it's 22.2. So that's got to be right because that's what the team thinks. So that's not impossible, but it's still, you're talking about 15% of your cap dead.
Yeah. And then, well, it says on Spotrac there's a potential out in 2023 where it would only be 8.6 million in cap hit. And so that 8.6 would be, let's see here. So the 8.6 would be a trade or a release pre 6/1. Anything after June 1st is 6.8. And then 2024 would only have a 1.8 cap hit because that was because of the restructure. So, okay, so the restructure basically put 1.8 million on the docket for 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. And then he's a free agent in 2025. So they spread that out. That's what it did. So put 1.8 on each year.
Well, she's got in here that the 43.3 million in fully guaranteed payments due in 21 and 22. So my whole thing is, okay, if you look at potential suitors, right? Obviously you got Holmes in Detroit, and that works out. If Brad Holmes likes Jared Goff, if he was part of the group that wanted him with the Rams, and he wants him to be his first quarterback in Detroit, then bam, you've got something there. Because they have an asset you want, you have an asset they want, then you can make that deal, and the Rams just have to give up X amount of picks to make all that work. But what if the Lions don't want Goff? Which then you really. My whole thing is somebody's going to want Jared Goff at the contract he's on, and to me, I just don't see. It's got to be one of the least attractive contracts in professional sports right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with Les Snead, you can pitch it this way. He's a top 15 quarterback. Not saying he is, but you can say, he's a top 15 quarterback. You can argue, he took us to a Super Bowl. He's won 43 or whatever games, second behind Tom Brady in that time span. You could talk about his 2017, 2018 season. And then say, he's third in passing in 2019. This year, he made strides, what have you. And at the end of the day, I mean, it doesn't sound like the most perfect thing, but the argument and say, okay, well, why do you want to trade him so bad? Be like, well, we just have pretty much decided that we want to go in a different direction as far as the way we use the quarterback position, have more mobility. And so, when John Wolford came to play, I honestly think John Wolford changed everything because they saw it's not just John Wolford, and that it's not like they're saying that he's a superstar quarterback or anything like that. Although I do believe both of them are starting quarterbacks in the NFL. I just think, I think John Wolford opened up everyone's eyes, or confirmed what they already knew, and that they needed true mobility
Yeah.
in today's league. And we've talked about it. We've absolutely talked about it. You don't need a Lamar Jackson. You don't need a sprinter, but you need a guy that's going to be able and go out and make plays and, with his legs and, extend drives. And, that's something Matthew Stafford does, but also it's something that Deshaun Watson does. So we talked a little bit about Stafford. What are your thoughts on the whole Watson stuff? Because like Jalen Ramsey, I don't know if you saw the bit, but not only has Jalen Ramsey been harassing Deshaun Watson on like all of his Instagram posts, he's been commenting below like "Go to LA" or "Wow, that looks really nice. Is that in LA?" Like all sorts of stuff, right? But he goes he goes on a live video. I don't know if you've seen this. He was on a live video podcast with Primetime and also Nuke Hopkins.
With Deion Sanders?
Yes. And
Nuke Hopkins. Okay.
Yeah, that was definitely something else. But at the end, DeAndre Hopkins basically says, ex Houston Texans Deshaun Watson. And that primed Deion Sanders to ask ex Houston Texans, like, where's he going? And Hopkins is like totally silent. And Jalen's sitting there. He's like, you already know. And they're like, wait, what? It's like, he's going to LA. Like, it's and it got dead quiet. And like, that's how it ended. So it's,
can you imagine?
I mean, here's the thing. And I was telling these guys, David Mulugeta.
Can you imagine what Sean McVay can do?
Oh my God. I mean, the NFL as a whole, you see those NFL fans on Twitter, you see draft Twitter, and they're all like, oh, I want Deshaun Watson to be with Kyle Shanahan, or I want to. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want him to be with anybody that knows how to use him because your team is not going to beat that team. Like, case in point. Put Deshaun Watson in McVay's offense. How are you going to stop that? Especially if Raheem Morris keeps that as a top 10 defense this year, like I believe he will.
Which they will, because they have the talent.
Yeah. Like, how are you going to stop that?
Yeah, that's something I think all Rams fans, and I'm sure a lot of neutrals, would love to see, because you don't want this guy to waste his career
in Houston,
anywhere. But to me, my whole thing is they've got so much invested in Goff. It's so hard to get out from under this that why wouldn't you just spend the offseason, lighting the fire under Jared Goff, get him back, back working, back locked in, see if you can get him to earn some of this money. And if not, then you use the out. I just don't see, they cannot keep signing these huge deals and moving these guys on before they even kick in. It's just not sustainable in this league.
It feels like this is kind of the end of it, though. Doesn't this feel like if they can move Goff, like, all right, we've learned our lesson. This was a very, very, very close shave. This is like,
you're gonna pay the price, dude. Like, just wait till you see this trade. Like, they are going to pay through the nose to get out from under this thing.
We'll see. I still think I still think he has value in this league. But I mean, again, he has value, but it's a few teams. It's not like Watson, where every team in the league should be interested, except for like a few teams. And I
find it absolutely fascinating that here we are with Jared Goff and Carson Wentz in this same situation, where Carson Wentz got benched, and you had Jim Everett tweeting out, "Well, I guess we know who won the Wentz Goff debate."
That was funny.
I remember replying to it, and I was like, "Yeah, just wait a second. Everything will change in a week."
Yeah.
And what happened? Goff is in the same doghouse as Carson Wentz. I mean, and again, it's not over. This thing's going to last till both these guys' careers are over. We're going to go back and forth. Wentz is going to be back up at some point. I'm sure Jared will be back up at some point. Whether or not it's in LA, we'll find out. But how ridiculous would that be that a couple years ago, I remember being at the SoFi Stadium site where there's still dirt all on the back. The stadium is still half built, and Jared Goff's playing, throwing footballs into the rafters with the construction guys. And they were talking about, and he threw a little pass to Robert Woods. And they're talking about all the touchdown passes he's going to throw in SoFi Stadium, and you're telling me that he's never going to throw a touchdown pass in SoFi Stadium in front of fans? Is that what's going to happen here?
That's what I'm telling
Just
you.
unfathomable. I
This
meant just 2
this
years
is
ago,
bizarre when you put it in that way.
And 2 years ago, it just came up on my phone. All my photos from the send-off rally to the Super Bowl. Just 2 years ago yesterday was the send-off rally when everybody was in front of the stadium that was still not built on a dirt patch, and all the fans came down to Inglewood to celebrate. First time, that Rams fans got to really gather in Inglewood as one. Still the only time, really, right?
Yeah.
And to celebrate the team going to the Super Bowl, and now we're talking about a future without this quarterback. It's just it's fascinating. But we'll see what I'm sure if there's a trader in the business that can get out from this, it's less, but
Yeah.
it's going to be fascinating to see. My theory obviously again is that they're trying to light a fire under him, but it doesn't make sense that does that include this Jordan story where the Rams are engaging in quarterback trade talks? Like, do they want Jared sitting at home and scrolling through his phone reading this story? Is that going to get him up tomorrow and get him working, or
I mean,
is this real?
I think.
Am I wrong and this is real?
I think he's gone, and I think it's sad, but I get it. And people keep trying to compare this, and I've been seeing this. Well, if you look at the pocket passer, they struggle, and then 28 is the year where they, it just clicks for them. I'm like, it's a different era. No. You can't compare him to Peyton Manning. It's the completely different scenario.
Why don't you compare him to the other guy in the Super Bowl right now who's still a pocket passer and can't move?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are some mobile guys, but Tom Brady's still in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
And, last I checked, he hasn't been able to move since he was 30. Gilbert Gonzalez here has a great point. We have to also bring up the fact that Jared looked pretty darn good in the playoffs.
He did.
He played his butt off in those 2 games.
Adds to that value.
So
see what I'm talking about?
it adds to my point that you put, light a little fire under his butt, and he played a heck of a lot better in the playoffs. So
no, it's true, but doesn't that pose an issue though? So this guy is finally tested, and then the Mike Silver report comes out, and it's that he was upset that he was benched, and like Mike Silver literally said that like he talked to him on the plane ride home. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm reading in between the lines or anything. I'm not trying to get somebody in trouble for something they didn't do, but like, doesn't that sound like he's like, I don't know, whining to Mike Silver? Like, hey,
dude, he should be pissed off. If he gets benched, it's good that he's pissed off. That's what they wanted.
They
wanted to get him going. And so, and the other thing about it is, and that proves that was that first sign that this was different, because Jared did go out that week in his media availability and say, I'm ready to play. I'm out here taking reps. I want to play. And they went and they started Wolford because they wanted to see what they had in Wolford. And again, what have I been saying for 4 years? That
I know
Sean McVay can coach up anybody at that position. It'd be better to have somebody who's a value rather than making 30. And I would love for them to get out from under this thing and draft somebody. Maybe have Wolford for a year or half a year while they blood in a new guy. And then you've got another, $15 million to play with for 4 years, $20 million to play with.
It's everything is, I don't know, everything is so weird. Like, it's just like we're talking about Matthew Stafford finally leaving Detroit. He's been there for now. This is his 12th year he would have gone into. And now they're finally moving on from him. And he's finally going to get an opportunity to win.
Anthony Barrera is making me
are you looking?
Check Twitter here.
Yeah, I'm looking too.
I'm going to look. If somebody says breaking news, I'm going to look, even if I
dude, same here. Same here. Even if
anyway,
it's that.
Keep going. I will double check. I'm the reporter here.
Oh yeah, well that's true. Let's see here.
we already had one big trade tonight, the Nolan Arenado deal.
Yeah, I saw that. Alexis was pretty stoked, being that she's a Cardinals fan.
I'm sure. Yeah,
She just texted
it's
me
nice to get
all caps. Nolan Arenado. I was like,
nice to get nice to get one of the best third basemen in baseball and have them pay you for it.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. I don't see anything here so far. So
yeah,
you got what you wanted there, Anthony. I checked.
yeah. I like your due diligence, though. Oh, did you see the other comment
Hey,
though?
you gotta.
What was it? Joe Curley is no regular Joe. Pam
I
0077.
appreciate that. The other guy was calling me entitled, and I was like, well, yeah, I guess that too.
I don't think
My
you're
bad.
entitled. You're just well informed, and like you're not like making, and you don't have an opinion just based on like, yeah, because I think this way. Like you have knowledge for the reason you think this way, and like you always back up your quote unquote takes. Breaking news just now. IR in LL. Stop with the breaking news.
I mean, another thing you got to bring up with Jared is that Jared is, think of how many times we've been down on Jared and he's risen and he's returned and he's played well, and all the times we've been super high on Jared and he's proven to be, not a top 5 quarterback like a lot of people thought after the Super Bowl. To me, Jared is a mirror for the rest of this team. When the rest of this team is good and playing well and there's weapons and there's pass protection, Jared can get you there. And when the team is broken down and the line is in transition and they're not protecting him, and the D is not playing well, Jared breaks down too. And so I think he's a fact. He's a like I said, he's a mirror. He's a he's a kind of the image of what is around him, and so I think he's a pro. I think he's a starting caliber NFL quarterback. I just think they paid him too much, and now they're stuck.
Yeah,
They're trying to get out from under it. If only they hadn't paid him all that money, I think they'd be fine, and Jared would be fine.
well, I'm not denying that. And I think, when it's all said and done, you're going to end up losing John Johnson and you're going to lose Leonard Floyd, and you're going to sit here and wonder, what could have been if you didn't spend all that money on your quarterback, and I think, it makes sense to spend a lot of money on a quarterback that you believe in, but clearly they didn't. I don't know. Like you were kind of alluding to, I definitely think this whole time I felt like it was higher up. And I felt like one particular guy in general was super, super high on Goff more than any other person, and it's not Snead or McVay. And I think that McVay did like Goff, but tell me right now, Joe, if McVay was drafting instead of Fisher with this Rams team at, number 1 overall, is he picking Wentz or is he picking Goff? Because to me, I think he picks Wentz every single time.
Dude, I mean, you're going to have Sean answer that question years after he leaves the Rams. But the bottom line is he could have went to San Francisco and had any quarterback he wanted.
Yeah.
Instead, he came to Los Angeles because, and part of that package was Jared Goff. So, Sean's part of it. Sean's in, the ownership is in on it. They signed up, they paid that they signed that contract. And, Kevin Demoff is part of it because he was the president when they made that trade and signed that contract. And Les Snead is part of whenever he's when you write Les Snead's career history, part of that is going to be the biggest trade ever to get to 1-1, and they used all that capital on Jared Goff and then spent all that money. That's on his record. And part of Sean McVay's story in Los Angeles is he chose to come to the Rams in part because they had Jared Goff, because he could have went in other places and done whatever he wanted there at quarterback. He could, or he could have said, okay, well, I'll work with Jared for a couple of years, but don't sign him and we'll draft someone else. But they never did because he was in on Jared. And so, I don't think there's any other way. You can't make excuses for what they've done, because the last 4 years they've been all in on this guy.
Yeah, Joe, did you see that comment? Clash of the Horns. All my Dogecoin money.
Someone said, yeah, maybe you guys can get together and pay him off with the Dogecoin money, because I know everybody's making that bank this week.
Yeah, it's been insane. It's literally it's crossed over in sports. It's crossed over, well, obviously, anytime you're dealing with the stock market or crypto, it's going to cross into politics. But it's crossed over into everything.
I could totally join the Rams cheerleaders if I can't move like I once did, though.
There you go.
It would totally pull a hamstring.
Jerry Jones will let go Prescott. That's interesting. Do you think that happens, Joe? Do you think they'll let go of Dak?
I cannot believe they haven't signed him. And look at what that team was without him. I think.
I think Dak turned himself into a top 6 quarterback, to be honest with you. Like, he was on pace for 6,000 yards.
Dude, I agree with you. And the thing about it is that this, in this league, you have to judge people on what they do, not what they say. And the Cowboys have not paid him. They could have paid him before. They could have paid him after. They could have paid him right now. And they haven't. And so if I was Dak Prescott, I'd be looking. I'd be trying to figure out where I was going to be headed. And I would think he would be, off that performance before that injury, he was a top. You answer this to me. He's a top X quarterback in this league. Where's Dak for you in this? If you have $35 million to pay for a quarterback,
that's a bargain to me.
On that list,
if you're paying $35 million, Dak, that's a bargain. I think Dak is worth close to 40 because he gives you that mobility that you need. He can run, but he's got a really underrated arm as far as the strength, the velocity. And then when you look at his ability, his ball placement just continues to get better every year. And not only that, but his pocket presence has always been good, going back to Mississippi State. So when I look at everything that he brings to the table, and he continues to get better, and he was even still good when the offensive line went down, unlike Ezekiel Elliott, who's fallen off a cliff. I don't know, man. I think Dak Prescott, I watched a quarterback literally try to single-handedly carry his team to a win every single week this year when he was playing.
They were fun to watch.
They would come back from anything,
another level.
But their defense was horrible.
He was on pace to, like you said, literally throw for 6,000. He was on pace to break all the records.
Yeah,
if you were playing DraftKings this year, you were all over the Cowboys every year, in the same way that you were all over whoever was playing Seattle in the first half of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the calculated market value for Dak Prescott, according to Spotrac, is 36.8. I would even go above that.
All right, so you're running Team A, and I'm running Team B. You're paying Dak 36 to 40, and I'm going out and I'm trying to find the cheapest quarterback I can, and I'm paying everybody else. That's where we are right now.
Hold up, though. If that's an option, I'm definitely interested in that option, because I firmly believe, actually, that the Rams in 2018 only were able to happen, getting the guys that they did because of Goff's rookie deal. So that's the thing, is that, like with Tom Brady, for instance, pretty much the rookie deal is like, in a sense, replicating what Tom Brady meant for the Patriots, taking all those pay cuts, because he allowed them to go out and get a Stephon Gilmore. I don't think that's said enough. So
that's part of Tom Brady's commitment to winning, was think of all the money.
Gotta give him credit for that. I gotta give him credit for that.
That's why in the end, I'm sure a lot of Patriots fans are not going to be rooting on either side of this thing in a week. But I think sober Patriot fans have to realize the guy, took so many cuts year after year after year, got them competitive, made sure they were competitive, and he deserves to do what he wanted and make that. I think he's making the most money he's ever made this year.
Yes. And I mean, he deserves it. He's been doing this for a while. But one thing I'll say before you leave is that, at the end of the day, no matter who the Rams get at quarterback, I still can't stress enough that they're going to be able to, at the very least, they'll be able to win, since there's 17 games now. They'll be able to win 11 games next year, I think, with Wolford. I think with Goff. I really, this isn't a team that's going to fall off a cliff if Goff is gone. Wouldn't you agree with that? Because I know there's a lot of people that are out there, they're really skeptical about this whole thing with the quarterback position, because at the end of the day, they're like, well, there's no stability now, and it's like, this team is going into a rebuild.
Sean McVay is your stability.
Exactly.
Whether you're worried about the coaches moving on, whether you're worried about whoever's going to be quarterback, the bottom line is Sean McVay is going to be coaching up that quarterback, and he's going to get that guy at a level that's good enough to win games. Now, is it going to be 8, 9 games, 10 games, 11 games? Get you into the playoffs. I think Jared Goff played an average level last year, so there certainly is an argument to be made that you could get somebody else to come in, play an average level, and win 11 games. So
I
anyway,
agree with
I got to
you.
run. Always awesome talking football with you.
Absolutely.
And, it was fun.
You'll have
Thanks,
to
guys.
you'll have
Good
to
luck.
hop on again soon, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, now that I know how to work this Discord, I think we're good. Yeah, good luck to your Dogecoins and your AMCs and all your positions. I hope that you guys all deserve that bag.
Appreciate it. Take care, my man.
Bye, guys. Late.
All right, guys. Well, that was Joe Curley. If you guys don't know him, he is a writer, reporter for the Ventura County Star. He covers the Rams. He covers all sorts of sports. But he actually has been, in a way, a mentor of mine, because he was actually one of my... Because I've had 3 co-hosts. I had Blaine Grisack, who is the managing editor of Downtown Rams. Joe Curley was my second co-host, who was just on, and then Alexis Kraft, who's my co-host right now, who she's been on here before. But yeah, that was a lot of fun having him on, and I see that you guys enjoyed it, some of you at least. Yeah, he's definitely very knowledgeable. So I wanted to bring him on, give some insight on the situation at hand. I still, as you guys know, I still think that the Rams are going to be able to trade Jared Goff, and I think they'll be able to get assets for him. I don't think they'll have to trade assets. Joe believes that they will have to trade assets, so we'll see. I think he could be right, he could be wrong. But I think this has been an amazing stream. I don't want to go or anything like that because I have 234 people watching. I don't want to leave you guys and let you guys down. Someone's okay. Someone said I looked cute. What? I don't know. Jake looking kind of cute, not gonna lie. Thank you, I guess. We're almost at 6,000 views, so it's been pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Let's see. Where? Okay. Also, it'd be awesome if some major breaking news dropped on here, because I don't know. At some point, I mean, we got some breaking news, but it was for baseball. I mean, for the Rams. Yeah. All right. So you guys drop below who you think you would want for the Rams right now. Of all the candidates that are potential, who do you guys want to go to the Rams? Thank you, Will. Appreciate that. Justin Fields. That's a name. Watson. Deshaun, obviously. Watson. But Stafford would be a second option. Not Watson. Ryan Leaf. Aaron. Watson, Bud Dupree. Watson would cost too much, honestly. I mean, he might. He definitely might. Hey, all, if you can go and follow this or subscribe to this, I would appreciate it. This is Alexis Craft's channel. Go and sub to that. The link I just posted. And then, if you could, go and sub to the AJ Show. We're at 399 subs. Almost at 400. It's a show every Saturday at noon until 2 p.m. Eastern Time. 9 to 11 Rams time, we'll call it. We do a live show. So tomorrow, you'll be able to catch me live at noon. I'll also be doing a live stream here for my channel, but I'm going to have 2 live streams. So be sure to check in on that. Also, the chat is crazy. So one way, like for me to 100% see your chat, and I know it comes off as like bad, but I'm just saying, if you guys like really have to like get the attention of me to see your chat, make sure you give it a super chat, because it highlights the message and I can see it. If I can see it better, I'm going to reply to it. I can't reply to everything. I was going to go back and go through the comments early on, and then we got into something crazy, and now, of course, that's not the case anymore. We're almost at 6,000 views, though. Pretty impressed. The Rams are releasing Malcolm Brown. I just don't think they're re-signing him. I don't think they're releasing him since he's not under contract. Yeah, here I am just sitting here like hoping for some magic. Hey, did Dogecoin go up at all? Oh, it went up. It's responding. It's back up to 41. Went down to 34. Would have bought the dips, but here's why I couldn't. Because if you have Robinhood, which I do, you cannot buy Bitcoin or anything right now. Appreciate you, Jake. Okay, hold on a sec. If the Rams somehow get Watson, gotta get Joe Curley to come back on. Oh, absolutely. Joe's gonna be on. I love Joe. Orlando Brown looking to get out of Baltimore. That's interesting. I don't know why he's looking to get out of Baltimore. Goff is godly. Don't trade. Jake is begging again. Yeah. I mean, I'm not begging, but you know how I am. No, it's one of those things, honestly. I'll never like beg for a donation. I'm just saying, to 100% guarantee that I will see your comment, the super chat is cool. The super stickers thing doesn't, I mean, it helps me, but I'm just saying the super chat highlights your whatever your message is, question, comment, concern, and just puts it giant in the thing. So okay, let's see here. I just slammed this thing. I hope you guys didn't hear that. I can still hear like the vibration. But anyway, let's see here. No, you don't have to pay to chat. I'm just saying if you have like a question or something and you need to make sure that I see it, there you go. Because there's a lot. There's a lot of you. We have 213 people live. 11:39 Eastern time on a Friday night. It's pretty awesome. Why is Tyrod Taylor not an option for the Rams? Mobile quarterback, FA. If we trade Goff, then he would work. I mean, Tyrod Taylor, yeah, I know, Chantry. Tyrod Taylor is, he's not really a starter anymore at this point in his career. More of a backup. He's a solid backup. Probably one of the better backups in the league, but I wouldn't bring him in to start. Jake, please do ASMR, please. Let's see. I'm looking here. ASMR is not my thing. You know that. That's Alexis's. Jason, appreciate you. Jason, if I'm not mistaken, you and I met, I want to say 2 years ago at a Rams game. No, I'm not doing ASMR. That's Alexis. That's her specialty. Although she doesn't even like ASMR. She just does it anyway. Because it's funny. Why are people... Okay. I don't know if you all can relate to this, but I feel like every time I go live, my iMessage pops up in the corner. And I know, Jason, and I appreciate you. I'm glad. I'm almost positive we met. I remember you. We met at a Rams game. I don't remember if it was in New York or LA, though. I think it was in LA. What was I going to say? Yeah, I don't even remember what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, when I go live, and again, not everybody here live streams, so maybe you won't understand with what I'm saying, but when I go live, I get a notification right up here, actually, over here. Get a notification in the corner of my screen from, whatever. Like, it can be anything. But if it's iMessage, it's going to come up. One of my friends always likes to put breaking news in all uppercase letters. And I can't see it. It gets cut off. So I don't know what they're talking about. And it's so frustrating. Yeah, they're going to sign Darius Williams. I'm not worried about that. Austin. He's a restricted free agent. Alexis is the only one that can do ASMR. You're absolutely right. Najee Harris. The Rams aren't drafting Najee Harris. They don't want another running back. I mean, maybe a little bit later, but not that early. Get Puka Williams, I'm telling you right now. Trace McSorley would lead us to everything. Can we get a speed wide receiver? I mean, I'm sure you could grab one. John Johnson, I think, is gone. Let's see. Okay. Who wants to be a mod? I feel like I should have asked this a while ago. I was considering because YouTube added memberships, but I don't feel like my channel's big enough where you guys would care to pay for a membership. Maybe you would. I don't know. Let me know. But I definitely wouldn't mind picking out some mods right now. All right, Rams House. Gonna make you a chat mod. Let's see here. Oh, apparently I can't do it on Streamlabs. Let's see if I can do it. We just hit 6,100 playbacks, aka views, which is the most in my entirety of this this channel live. Rams House is now a moderator for your channel. Make it OnlyFans? That's not happening. All right, I'm picking 3. Okay. Chantry Star is now a moderator for your channel. And Henry Ford is now a moderator for your channel. So I gave out 3 moderator positions. Can add more at any point. So if you didn't get it this time, no worries. What's up? Maybe I'll have more than 3. I would unsub myself if I made an OnlyFans. I'll never make an OnlyFans. That's not me. No. Marco Go Crazy is now a moderator for your channel. New life goal moderator for Jake. You're welcome, Rams House. You're welcome, Marco. Oh, Troy Hill is gone. He's gonna be a free agent. Exile is now a moderator for your channel. Okay, now I gave a lot of mod powers. I gave out quite a bit. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess we could give out another. Let's see who's in here. I'm not making an OnlyFans. Stop it. Daniel Lopez is the last moderator. Daniel or Danielle? I apologize if I butchered that. Yeah, so I'll have more moderators to give out. I just wanted to give out a few because I realized like I can do that. Yeah, let me know if you guys would be interested in memberships. I don't know, getting like cool badges and stuff for your. I don't know personally. I mean, I'm not like decided on it, but YouTube not came at me. I don't want to sound like they're attacking me. But they asked me straight up if I would be interested in doing like badges and giving out memberships for people that paid monthly. I don't know how that would work, but if anybody's interested, let me know. Rams Showcase. I was on his podcast. You'd sign up? Okay, so you think that all right. I got 1 vote. 2. All right, let's see this. All right, so everyone. Okay, so for membership, for like badges and stuff, I don't know. We'd add some stuff to it. I'm just honestly, I'm not like, I'm considering it. Oh, awesome. Doge went down 4. Awesome. Okay, anyway. I'm considering it, but I need to know if you guys would be interested in it, because I'm not going to do it if no one's going to be interested. So I'll put it together. I'll put together a membership plan. I'll never make my content, what's the word, exclusive. I mean, that's ridiculous, but I'll put together a membership plan. So everyone say yay or nay if you would be interested in a membership, like a paid monthly thing, like $2 a month or something. Something like small. I wouldn't charge you a ton, but it's something that YouTube requested that I look into, and I'm talking to my folks before this. $4.99 at the max. Sure, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nay. 5. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9. That's not bad. Yeah, honestly, I think I'll give it a shot. And if you guys don't want to be a part of it, you don't have to. Yeah, paid membership. I don't know. Like, you guys give me ideas of what I could do. I think it's for like icons and stuff. I've seen it used. Yeah, Alexis Craft needs a better computer. Yeah, I'm thinking I might wait, but if anybody wants to do it now, I'll just do it now, and that way it's no harm, no foul. Anybody that's interested wants to support the channel. I mean, I think that vote passed. To be honest, if 10 people are willing to do it, I'm going to do it. Because, I mean, that's the thing is, like, if you guys... I could give away a free Sprite. Yeah. I don't know. I think you guys are super loyal, so if you guys are down, I'm down. I'll make it after this, and we'll put it together. I'll mention it in the post section, so keep an eye on that. You don't have to do it immediately. You don't have to do it at all. It's totally up for the people that want to do it. Oh boy, Andy, I don't know. What did you miss for an hour? I think Joe was still on. Joe was on until the 2-hour mark. So you missed all of like what Joe was saying. I didn't break up with Ginger Ale. Canada Dry and I are very much in love. I just don't have Canada Dry right now. I don't have Sprite anymore. It's my last can. I should buy Alexis Craft a computer. I like the new logo based on the LA logo. I don't like the ram head. I don't think everyone's leaving. We got 177 people in here. I mean, I'll probably log off soon. I'm probably going to watch some Gotham and some film. I don't love Darnold to the Rams. Yeah, the Ram head is not my favorite. Yeah, so I didn't like the LA logo immediately. I like it now. All right, Dogecoin is down to 0.035. Yeah, I like the Rams uniforms. I think that they definitely could have been better, but I do like them. What do you guys think about Nolan Arenado to the Cardinals? We didn't really talk much about that. It's a pretty big trade. The Lakers play tomorrow night against the Celtics. Yeah, the yellow pants do look faded. That is kind of annoying. Yeah, so the Gotham Joker's awesome because it's played by Cameron Monaghan, who I'm a huge fan of. For those of you that don't know, Cameron Monaghan was in Shameless and played Cal Kestis in the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order video game. But he also played Gotham's Joker. Although I don't even know if it was the Joker because apparently it's supposed to be the Joker, but like they didn't have the rights to it. So I don't know. Does anyone know anything about that with Gotham? Is that the joke? Like, because apparently is it Jeremy? I don't know, Jeremy and Jeremiah. I didn't see the WandaVision leak. PlayStation. You guys, if anybody wants to add me on PlayStation, I'll drop it. And I will I'll add everyone back that wants to add me. Also, with the live chat, let's see what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to enable slow mode. So 10 seconds in between messages. Okay? That's what we're going to do. So we got slow mode on. Yeah, Kenobi's going to be awesome. Yeah, no, I figured he was the Joker. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but like they're doing the whole, well, you know. Oh, drop the Instagram. Yeah. I like Ndamukong Suh. Ahsoka should be great. Oh my god, way better than Leto. Way better. There were times where I was like, Cameron Monaghan was trying to sound like Heath Ledger. I think I swallowed air. Third stimulus, huh? I was trying to add. I think someone just added me on PlayStation. I have the app, so I'm trying to check. Slow mode is so you get to have it's so it doesn't like, I don't know. You don't have like loaded conversation. It's like people get a chance to respond before you just go like this. Yeah, Dogecoin's down pretty hard. Okay, let's see here. Immortal Italian 4. I accepted your friend request. Anybody else? Sidelong Reflex. Accepted yours. You'll have to let me know where you're from, like if you ever want to play or something, just so I know. Like if you're like, oh, I watch your YouTube channel, I'll be like, oh, I know who you are. Yeah, I have the new COD. I don't play Warzone anymore because it's like 200 gigabytes and the PS5 has like nothing. Yeah, if I get the stimulus, you know what I'm getting? I'm getting a brand new laptop. That way I can stream this thing in 4K. Imagine that, streaming this thing in like straight up 120 frames 4K. Probably 60 frames, we'll say, but nonetheless. You can buy it on Uphold. What's Uphold? Hold on, now I'm interested in that. Let's see. Huh. That's really interesting. I'm signing up for Uphold right now. If you have a you thought Doge got me my laptop? Well, it did, and then I dove back in. And now, well, no, I'm just interacting with the audience. Appreciate the follow. I'll follow back on anything. So if you guys follow me on Twitter at JKBoganDTSN, 40-yard dash, I think it was 4.9. That was not long after I got hit by a car, so it probably could be a lot better. Now it couldn't. Back then it could have. Eric Richardson got the follow back. I mean, you all do, but I'm going to let everyone know. Follow back. Zay 2003. Cole Walsh 526. Will in Tokyo. I don't think that's... Yeah, I'm not following that person. Yeah, I got hit by a car. So funny story. When the Rams lose, like in January, normally I get into like, I don't know, my health goes down, we'll say. When the Rams lose in January, my health goes down. So when they lost in January to the Falcons, what was it? When the Rams lost to the Falcons in the playoffs in 2017, appreciate it, Daniel. I actually like went into like a mini coma where I got super sick, like super sick. And then the next day I woke up and it was 8 p.m. Eastern time. And my dad's like telling me how, the Bills beat the the Jaguars beat the Bills and all this. And I'm like, what? He's like, oh yeah, it's not 8 a.m. It's 8 p.m. You missed the whole day. You slept through the whole day. And I was like, what? So yeah, that was that time. And then the other time the Rams lost in January before that, it was when they lost to Seattle to go to the playoffs in 2011, and I got hit by a car. And I broke a growth plate in my leg, my ankle. I fractured my pelvis, and yeah. I'm a decent athlete, but the problem is, like, well, not right now. I have like a quarantine body. I'm not like, super, super fat or anything like that, but I'm not in the weight that I could be. I was going to the gym like daily, and then the whole quarantine thing hit, and I just, kind of got out of that. MMG or ya boy pizza? I don't know what that is. Sorry. I hit Jake, hit and run, exile, bumper car, accident. Yeah, I got hit by a car. It was a Volkswagen minivan going 55 in a turn lane. I tried to jump over it because I heard it coming, and then I flipped like 6 times. Landed on my neck, but the thing is, I was in 9th grade, so I was in freshman year of high school, and I was like kind of mocking the people that buckle their backpack. So I took both, I don't know, like I buckled in my backpack so it wrapped around my chest, and it saved my life because it supported the books, because I had a ton of books in my bag, and it supported my neck because it supported the books on my backpack. So when I landed on my neck was cushioned. I know it sounds crazy, but it was cushioned by books. So in a sense, homework saved my life, and buckling my backpack, all of that. No, I'm good. It was 2011. It's all good. I mean, there are certain things that never feel the same. I can't stand for too long, like in one spot without leaning, because I broke a growth plate. So like I have one leg that is a little bit longer than the other, like very little bit. You could never tell. I mean, you could tell, but Volkswagen minivan. Yep. Yeah. Different breed, right? Flex on them. No. You're good. You're good. If you had a smart car, you'd probably kill the people inside. I hope you're okay, Jake, after getting hit by the car now. Yeah, I'm fine. I have stuff every now and then. Like I said, like I can't stand for long periods of time. Like at concerts and stuff, I'll lean one way. I can't stretch out my legs for too long, otherwise like my ankle starts to feel weird. Um my pelvis being fractured, like my groin still kind of feels weird at times. Like again, like it's things where if I'm standing or in a position too long, it throws me off. But aside from that, like I had a giant hole in my head. I think it was on this side. And that's like, I mean, it's there, but it's a scar, so it's all good. We made it. But yeah, that was awesome watching the Rams lose to the Seahawks against Charlie Weiss, and then the next day walking home from school with the girl that I had a major crush on, and getting absolutely plowed by a minivan. Yeah, that was definitely something. What's the craziest thing that has happened to you folk? Also, you guys aren't actually going to believe this, but when I got hit by the car, first off, 2 things happened. One, I only saw gray, which it was pitch dark outside, so I still don't know how I only saw gray. But I heard in my head, and I was listening to, like, I had headphones in. So I was listening, and I listened to the song Diamond Eyes by Shinedown, and it kept playing and playing and playing and playing in my head when I'm only seeing all this gray. So I couldn't see anything going on. And then I got up and ran across the street. It was pretty crazy. The fact that I was able to get up from it, because I didn't even know what just happened. I just know, like, I felt a weird pinch, like, here in my neck. And then I tumbled a bunch of times, but I only saw gray. And then I felt like I was out cold, and then I woke up and, I don't know. It was pretty crazy. Craziest day of my life. Sheesh. Don't get struck by lightning. That's not good. What are you doing, Rams house? Okay, so hear me out when I say this. My parents lost their mind because the ambulance was there and everything, and they were trying to get a hold of my parents. And my phone, I had like this cinder block BlackBerry that didn't break from this accident. Didn't have a dent on it. I don't know how, but I couldn't find it until later on. But well, I didn't know that. I mean, it was impact. My reaction was to get up and run across the street. But yeah, so you asked Julian, what was your parents' reaction after you got hit? And the ambulance tried to call my parents, but they didn't have like my number or anything like that. So then my best friend, my friend Tyler, he gave them the phone, and then they're like, you should probably call them and then give it to us. So then he realized he didn't have my parents' number. He had my brother's, and my little brother, who's 5 years younger than me at the time, he calls him and he's like, hey, can you put, your mom on the phone? And he's like, okay. He hands it to my mom, and he's talking to my mom, and he's like, Miss Zellenbogen, Jake got hit by a car and he's got blood gushing out of his head. And that's how my mom heard that I got hit by a car. So it was pretty intense. I don't fault him. He was obviously like so shocked in the moment, and like I give him crap for it all the time, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't think I've ever cursed as much as I cursed when I was in that hospital, and they were giving me shots in my head, like morphine or whatever they were doing. They were trying to numb the pain right here because I had a literal hole in my head, and it just hurts so much. I've never cursed that much in my life. You guys wouldn't know because I don't curse on here, but yeah, no, appreciate it. Ooh. Pancreatic burst. I'm glad you're okay. Holy hell. Yeah. Appreciate you, Clover. Yeah, AMC to the moon. Let's get it. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, it's scary. I mean, I feel like all sorts of crazy stuff happen to us. You go through, say the average human lives 78 years. So you're bound to go through something crazy. Yeah, that which does not kill us makes us stronger. Life is crazy. I know I had that crazy experience. And then I came back, and then I started playing baseball again, and all of a sudden, like, I was playing the outfield, and a fly ball came, and I was playing under the lights. It was like 10 or whatever at night, and I caught it barehanded and like broke my finger. Like I had the same thing Jared Goff had, except it was multiple fingers. I dislocated them and broke them. No lightning when you almost got hit by lightning. Yeah, I hope everyone's having a good Friday night. That's annoying. Someone tripped you? Oh boy. All right, folks. I got to get out of here. Got to plan tomorrow's show. And, hope you guys join in on that. It airs at 12 p.m. Eastern Time to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on the West Coast, it's 9 to 11 your time. So really appreciate you guys, joining this. It's always really, really hard to leave a stream when you have so many people in there. And, I just feel like at this point, I'm going downhill. My content's not going to be as good. I love talking to you, but my house is 10 minutes away from my office, but my office, I still have to break stuff down. So, appreciate you. Make sure before you head out, you drop the sub if you like me. I'm assuming most of you like me. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching me on a Friday night. Now, I guess Saturday morning. So, yeah. Keep up the quality content, Jake. Will do, Eric. Lisa Ann waiting at home for Jake. Who's Lisa Ann? Later, Daniel. See ya, Chantry. I love y'all. I love y'all so much. Oh, it's hard to leave. We're almost at 7,000 views. Oh, do I stay? I don't know what to do. I know it's just a number, but I do have a pet. Coda. You should see this dog. It's the cutest thing ever. Oh, appreciate you, Chantry. No, we're almost there. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to do it. We got 22 views left. And then we're golden. Call me crazy. I know it sounds stupid, but I do care. What's up, Armando? Horns up, Jake. I forgot to ask before you go, who's your Rams' best free agent signing ever for the franchise? It's a great question. It's a tough question. The best free agent signing ever? Oh my God, that's crazy. We're over 7,000. That's so awesome. You guys are the best. What's up, Ram fan Ashton, my man? Yeah, Armando, I don't know if I have an answer to that because, Marshall Faulk was a trade. I guess best free agency signing ever? Oh, man, that's so tough. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing somebody obvious. Marshall Faulk wasn't a free agency signing, though. He was a trade. Oh, wait, did it say trade? No, it said free agency signing. I don't know. I mean, I'm inclined to say somebody like Whitworth or, you know what? Screw it. A blockbuster. But I'm going to say Kurt Warner. Easily. Kurt Warner was the best free agency signing in Rams history. Falk, they traded for. Jalen Ramsey, they traded for. Jared Cook was not worth his contract. He's one of the worst free agents they've gotten. Oh, my God. All right, folks. We're over 7,000 views. It's been a very productive night. I'm going to go home and either sleep or watch Gotham or do both or watch film. I don't know. But I thank you guys for bearing with me yesterday. We took yesterday off, and we were back today with some awesome news and some stuff to cover. So hope I did that well enough for you. Again, really appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. For those that were interested, I will be making, or at least trying to make something good as far as the membership. The membership subscription. The paid membership. For those of you that are worried about me doing a paid membership and me selling out, I won't be forcing that on you. I won't be overdoing it with that. It's just whoever wants the paid membership. It helps out the channel, helps me out, but also, if you want a little icon or something like that, we're going to work together to make that happen. So thank you guys. You can catch me tomorrow on this channel later on at night per usual. But beforehand, if you really want to get me in under 12 hours, you can find me on the AJ Show, 12 p.m. Eastern Time to 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and 9 p.m. Pacific to 11 p.m. Pacific. All right. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. You guys take care. Be safe. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Sound good? All right. Later.